Hey everyone! Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Jane, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Young and the Restless, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers from Monday, July 14th, state that Nick Newman will spy on turmoil as Phyllis Summers seeks answers. Cane Ashby will also extend an invitation, but things will quickly become unpleasant. In Nice, Phyllis will have an exciting encounter with Nick, who will most likely apply further pressure to choose a side. Nick believes Phyllis should support the Newmans and everyone else who has become a target in Cane's rivalry. Nick is unaware that Phyllis has already pledged her commitment to Cane's team. However, when Phyllis discovers Nick is hiding something, the question of who she supports becomes less essential. When Phyllis questions Nick about anything he witnessed, he will act as if she is only procrastinating. Even so, Phyllis will be convinced that Nick sensed some trouble and is not as fine as he pretends. Phyllis will seek answers to whatever secrets Nick is keeping, but will he admit the truth? The bigger questions might be about what Nick witnessed and why it has him on edge. It's probable that Nick will notice a meeting between Cane and Carter. If Nick suspects Cane is planning anything with his strange, robotic assistant, it may be enough to make him nervous. However, Nick may notice Kyle Abbott crossing the line with Audra Charles or another incident that causes him to consider how much to reveal. Regardless, YNR viewers know how persistent Phyllis can be, so she will likely pester Nick and try to get information out of him. Cane will supposedly invite Damian Cane to take a drink with him so they may discuss Lily Winters. Damian's health begins to deteriorate rapidly as he consumes alcohol. Damian will query whether Cane poisoned him, but Cane will deny it because he is drinking from the same bottle. Again, it's possible Damian was poisoned much earlier. Whatever the situation, Damian will get disoriented and unable to stay awake, so Cane will witness this health crisis unfold directly in front of him. According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, Damian will face some unsettling circumstances, so stay tuned for updates on all the shocking developments. The Young and the Restless spoilers teaser video for the week of July 14th to 18th says that poisoned Damian Cane will accuse Cane Ashby before Chancellor interrogates several murder suspects. YNR's weekly promo begins with Damian feeling ill while drinking with Cane, prompting him to wonder if Cane is attempting to poison him as a result of Lily Winters. Cane, on the other hand, will argue that they're drinking the same stuff and pretend that he isn't trying to take himself out as well. Damian will appear to be about to lose consciousness as he rests on a bench. Cane will call Damian's name as the crisis worsens. Phyllis Summers will then suspect Nick Newman is hiding something during an upcoming encounter. Nick will act as if Phyllis is using stall tactics, insisting he is all right, but she will explain that he is not. Phyllis knows Nick well enough to notice when he's upset, so she'll inquire what he witnessed. Did Nick catch a glimpse of anything or someone in the maze that may raise concerns? Chance will lead a fatal inquiry when he collects with many of the partygoers on the train. Lily will inquire if Chance is calling this a murder, and he will admit that is exactly what they are looking at. Chance will insist on speaking with everyone personally about their activities during the previous hour or so. Abby Winters will be surprised to learn that Chance will interrogate them. So basically, what you're saying, Chance, is that we're all suspects, Devin Winters says in the weekly teaser video for YNR. Will Damian's poisoned ordeal be fatal? Is it the murder probe that Chance will launch? Chance may begin with one case, but it will lead to another, since another trailer recently indicated a probable stabbing victim as well. Could someone pursue Chance if he gets too near to the truth? According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, Chance will seek updates on who is responsible for the tragic drama, so stay tuned to see how it plays out for him. Nick spies trouble. Cane's invitation is a compelling story set in the shadowy realm of espionage, betrayal, and high-stakes deception, where alliances are fragile and trust is a luxury that few can afford. The plot revolves around Nick, a seasoned operator whose keen instincts and unwavering determination have kept him alive in a field where one mistake can be fatal. When Cane, a mysterious and enigmatic character renowned for organizing the most deadly operations, extends an unexpected invitation, Nick is dragged into a web of intrigue that threatens to unravel everything he thought he knew. The invitation, which appears innocent at first look, is anything but. It is a cleverly crafted trap, a test of devotion, or even a desperate cry for assistance from an old comrade whose motives are ambiguous. As Nick delves deeper, he discovers a maze of secrets, each more perilous than the last, compelling him to reconsider every decision he's ever made and every person he's ever trusted. The line between friend and adversary blurs as Nick navigates a world where nothing is as it appears and the stakes are nothing short of life and death. Cane's invitation comes at a moment when Nick is at a crossroads, exhausted from years of covert missions and the psychological toll of living two lives. The message is ambiguous, given through a sequence of carefully planned incidents that spark Nick's interest without giving too much. It's a classic move from someone who understands the art of manipulation, and Nick recognizes Cane's signature style, calculated, meticulous, and constantly thinking ahead. The invitation is more of a challenge than a request, with the underlying knowledge that refuse is not an option. Nick understands that rejecting it would be a mistake, but embracing it could lead him into a conspiracy far more dangerous than any he has encountered before. As Nick follows Cane's trail, he finds a series of hurdles that put his talents and resolve to the test. Each clue brings him closer to the truth, but also deeper into danger, requiring him to rely on his training, instincts, and the few allies he can still count on. The mission takes him across borders, through filthy underground dens, and into the heart of powerful shadow groups that control global events. Along the way, Nick begins to piece together the pieces of a wider conspiracy involving high-ranking officials, renegade agents, and a secret organization with ambitions that might destabilize entire countries. The deeper he delves, the more he learns that Cane's invitation was more than simply a call to action. It was a warning that the world was on the verge of destruction, and only a few people had the capacity to save it. The relationship between Nick and Cane is one of the story's most interesting elements, a complex dynamic based on years of shared history, mutual respect, and unspoken rivalries. Cane is a great strategist, a puppeteer who works in the shadows, always one step ahead of his adversaries, and occasionally his allies. Nick, on the other hand, is a man of action who prefers to face things head-on rather than engage in the sophisticated games of deception that Cane enjoys. Their relationship is riddled with tension, a fine balance of trust and suspicion that keeps both men on edge. As Nick learns more about Cane's true aims, he begins to wonder whether his former ally is still fighting for the same cause, or if he has evolved into something far more dangerous, a rogue element with his own agenda. The story is punctuated by high-octane action sequences, each more intense than the last, as Nick faces opponents who are equally skillful and motivated as he is. From deadly hand-to-hand fights to high-speed chases through congested city streets, the story never slows down, keeping the reader on the edge of their seat. But underneath the surface thrills is a more in-depth discussion of issues like his loyalty, betrayal, and the moral uncertainty of espionage. Nick is forced to face the repercussions of his actions, the people he has killed, and the lies he has lied in the sake of a larger good. The mission becomes more than just a job, it's a reckoning, an opportunity for Nick to choose what he actually believes in and whether the cost to which he has spent his life is still worth fighting for. As the story nears its conclusion, Nick is faced with an unfathomable decision that will determine not just his fate, but the fates of countless others. Cane's invitation was only the beginning of a game that had been planned for years. The climactic confrontation is a masterclass in tension and suspense, a heart-pounding period in which every decision counts and the smallest error might be disastrous. In the end, Nick must use everything he's learned, every talent he's polished, and every ounce of courage he has to outwit his adversaries and uncover the truth. Even as the mission concludes, the novel leaves unanswered issues, implying a deeper conspiracy that goes much beyond what Nick has discovered. Nick Spy's Trouble, Cane's Invitation is a gripping tale of espionage and intrigue that will keep readers guessing until the very end. It demonstrates the ongoing attraction of spy fiction, where the stakes are high, the adversaries powerful, and the heroes flawed but resolute. The story follows Nick's journey and addresses the psychological toll of a life spent in the shadows, the sacrifices made to safeguard the greater good, and the ever-present risk of losing oneself in the process. Cane's offer may have been the impetus, but Nick's reaction, his determination to return to the fray despite the risks, is what defines him as a character. The anecdote serves as a warning that in the realm of espionage, nothing is black and white, and the most serious threats can emerge from the most unexpected areas. The narrative's richness comes from its thorough attention to detail, which creates a universe that feels both authentic and fascinating. From the shadowy backrooms where deals are negotiated in whispers to the high-tech command centers where global activities are coordinated, each scene is clearly described, immersing the reader in Nick's world. The supporting cast is similarly captivating, from other operatives with their own hidden ambitions to intriguing people who lurk in the shadows, tugging threads for their own motives. Each character adds dimension to the story, with their interactions with Nick exposing new facets of the larger plot. At its core, Nick spies trouble. Cane's invitation is a narrative about trust, who to trust, when to trust, and what happens when that trust is broken. Nick's adventure is both a voyage of self-discovery and a quest for the truth. He is forced to confront his own limitations, past mistakes, and the possibility that he has always fought on the wrong side. Cane, however, remains an enigma, his true motivations unknown until the very end, forcing Nick, and the reader, to question whether he was ever truly an ally or just another actor in a much wider game. The story's speed is unrelenting, with each chapter building on the previous one, propelling the plot ahead with a sense of urgency that parallels Nick's personal race against time. The twists and turns are masterfully executed, keeping the reader interested and continually questioning their preconceptions. Just as Nick thinks he's on the verge of discovering the truth, another layer of deception is exposed, drawing him deeper into the plot. The prose is snappy and evocative, conveying the tension and dread of a world where nothing is taken at face value. In the end, Nick spies trouble. Cane's invitation is more than just a spy thriller, it's a reflection on the nature of power, the cost of secrets, and the fine line between hero and evil. Nick's narrative is one of tenacity and redemption, demonstrating the human spirit's ability to persevere in the face of great difficulties. Cane's offer may have provided the spark, but Nick's commitment to complete the objective, no matter the cost, is what makes the story truly remarkable. As the final pages flip, the reader is left with a sense of accomplishment, but also a desire to join Nick on his next adventure, wherever it may go. The world of espionage is broad and merciless, but as long as there are operators like Nick willing to face the unthinkable, there is always hope, even in the darkest times.